This CrowdStrike's becoming one of the great growth stories of our generation. Right now, it's operating way under the radar of most investors because they don't even think about real information. They pass along information like a kid's game of telephone or from financial news media, which is actually worse. Now, this is what the company's stock price looks like on the internet if you look it up. But now, let me show you what I think is really happening here. CrowdStrike is being lumped in a pile. They just call the whole pile technology. Investors who don't know anything about it are treating it like it's a baseball card instead of buying a company perfectly positioned with rising sales, rising profitability, and rising profits. And of course, like all steadily growing, revenue-producing companies, inflation, all those trillions of new paper dollars, will automatically drive up the stock price. It's already happening. Now let's move into an alternate universe, the one rich people live in. Instead of watching the daily fluctuations and the mood swings, here's another way to see the value of this company. Now you're looking at the 150-day moving average of the stock price. Now I tell you all the time, there's nothing I like better than a lousy chart with a company that's consistently making more and more money. So this is the picture we should be looking at. So let me tell you why CrowdStrike is growing so steadily. Obviously, one of the big problems we have as a society with all the fabulous advanced ways we do things is that we totally rely on data, information. And that information is all out there in the air. We call it the cloud, but it's really just the air. Now think about your own security of your network. You personally insist on some of the best technology in the world for your entertainment. You have a dynamite way of getting all kinds of cool television shows. You get them through the air, and not only to your TV or your computer, but even your telephone. But your virus protection and your protection against hackers, it's all local. It's installed on your computer. It has to be updated all the time in order to work. And this means you're always behind the times. And even so, the process is expensive and it's a pain in the neck. Now, imagine a huge company like a bank with hundreds of branches or a big manufacturing company, how much data they use and how much more complicated it is for them. Most of their data is kept in the cloud, and most of them have that same kind of virus protection as you installed on their local computer system, which is generations behind modern high-end hackers who are the most updated systems. It's like a kid playing against the CIA. Remember, a couple of months ago when hundreds of companies, including the US government, were hacked and their data was stolen, these victims were customers of a database company called SolarWinds. And when those hackers attacked the SolarWinds databases, the hackers were not able to penetrate the networks of one internet security company, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike uses a completely different kind of system. It's all artificial intelligence. They have thousands of big company clients. They're all connected on CrowdStrike's network in the cloud. Any attempted attack is instantly defeated by their artificial intelligence system. And then, in a tiny fraction of a second, that information is conveyed to their thousands of clients everywhere who become instantly immune to this attack. Now, the company's network keeps getting more valuable because the bigger the network, the more information they're getting. And all that information gets conveyed instantly to their customers. So the more customers they get, the more valuable they are to me as an owner, and also the more valuable they are to their customers who rely on them. So every time the network gets bigger, the company becomes more valuable to its customers and more valuable to its owners, like me. Now, we've talked about CrowdStrike's strong revenue growth, and analysts project that the company is going to continue building its top line, its revenues, very rapidly. We think they're going to end up with revenues of $1.32 billion this year, $1.77 billion next year. That's more than 51% growth for 2022 and 35% for 2023. This picture is showing you how they're not only growing, but each year they increase the amount of money they get from each of their customers. Now, they're getting that by inventing new services and by customers increasing how many modules they use. And on the average, this is happening more than 25% a year. They're getting that much more revenue from each company. The good news for CrowdStrike is they're in exactly the right place at the right time. The world needs them, and nobody does it as well as they do. On the average, companies spend now 1% of their budget on security. That's why they're starting to get penetrated all over the place. Now, the good news for me as the owner of CrowdStrike is companies are going to be spending 5% of their much larger IT budget over the next few years. 5 times as much. So no one should be trading this stock. Just get over trading. This is a company you want to own, period. The world is buying these services from me, and they should be buying them from you too, if you're smart. You can own a lot more of the company if you learn to use your brains to get a better deal. Now, I'm not your financial planner. I'm telling you about the company and the economy. You have to think out your own situation for yourself. And when we use our equity accumulation technique to acquire the rights to the stock, we make much more money. Now, if you want to learn how to do this, to acquire the rights and own much more of the stock, starting with very little money, there's a lot more information on this on themoneyman.com. And there are a lot of videos on YouTube, on the Money Man's new YouTube channel, about how we do this. It's all new, and more people are joining. So, if our broadcasts have been making you money over the years, let's do it the modern way. Please join our Facebook group. It's members only, and here's the link.